Hi everyone, this is a quick video about an answer to a question that I get asked millions of times over, it feels like, which is how on earth do I know which units I should be studying when I first start my university degree? Whether that's a question that you yourself have, or perhaps as a young person in your life who just is about to start uni and really isn't sure where to begin at the start of their studies. You'll notice I've said the word unit here. Sometimes that can be replaced by the word subject or even other terminology. This video is not about new vocabulary to do with university study, but you'll notice if you look down in the comments, I've linked you into a free resource that I've made, which is a series of slightly longer videos than this one, going into a real deep dive with university terminology, what makes an undergraduate degree, what's a major, what's a minor, university fees, timetabling, communication, all that kind of thing. I really recommend that you go and check that one out after you've watched this video for a bit more of a deep dive. Okay, so let's move in. You can see here that we're on the university, the Unilateral website, but I'm actually going to have a look at, let's pick a degree that a number of students have spoken to me about. Let's say I want to study management at the University of Melbourne for a bachelor degree. Okay, that's great. That one's come up. I am not affiliated with the University of Melbourne in any way, but what I'm going to do throughout all of these videos is choose a number of common universities that students might want to go and study at in Australia and common degrees that you might choose. If you head down to that free resource in the comments and you look through and you've actually got some questions about your own specific university and you want a video on that, please let me know. But let's have a look here. So management at University of Melbourne. Okay, let's check out this first link here. So I'm interested in studying management. It happens to be number 1 in Australia for business management. Go Uni Melbourne, good for you. And what information can I find here as a member of the public just clicking around? I've gone here because probably as a student you can explore in this manner if you really are a school student or perhaps a mature age student who's just starting to think about what you might want to do at university. But also if you've actually picked your particular course, this is how you would click around to find out the information. In other words, what units do I want to study at the start of my university degree? It looks like management is actually a major, and again check out my free webinar resource that goes into this in a bit more detail if you're unsure what a major is. But there's an overview here of this major, and it turns out that it's present in the Bachelor of Commerce. So the Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Melbourne, that's the actual undergraduate degree that you would do, and then you can kind of do a bit more of a deep dive within a major in order to understand and gain some more skills in this management area. If I come down here, let's open these both up. So Bachelor of Commerce, I want to go and check that out to see how this management focus, this management major fits in, but I also want to see the management, the structure of this management major. So let's have a bit of a scroll down here. We've got an overview and we've got a sample course plan. So this is the thing that you really want to have a look at if you are trying to figure out what units you should study. And I should really say up front, none of the advice that I give should be a substitute for going in and talking to the course advisors at your own university. I'm giving you a general example of how to go about finding the information, and you should absolutely do this yourself for as many degrees as you're interested in, because the more well-armed you are with all this information, the better off you're going to be with your university study. But if you have any query whatsoever, head into those course advisors. They wouldn't be employed if you weren't there asking questions. See some other videos about coaching later on. Definitely go and have a look at those support services and ask the questions if you need to. That sample course plan, sometimes this is also called a typical study pattern. This is really helpful. So I'm going to come down here. We've got an overview. It's got some information about the structure in here, which is great. But I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to have a look at the sample course plan. This actually says if you're doing the management major within the Bachelor of Commerce and you're starting at the start of the year, that's super helpful. But you actually might be starting as a mid-year entry student and they'll still have a typical study plan or a sample course plan for you. They've also got some sample course plans here for if you're actually combining your management major within your Bachelor of Commerce with a marketing major. So they really do have all that information that you need to know. I'm going to expand all of these, and you can see here that this overall Bachelor of Commerce with the major embedded in it has a number of units that are compulsory. And I can see here that I've got all of these compulsory units. If I'm in year 1, so this is my first year, semester 1, I've got these 4 compulsory units in my first semester and these 4 plus an elective in my second semester in my first year. So if I were entering and I'm starting at the start of the year, perhaps January, February, I know if I'm studying this major, the management major, within the Bachelor of Commerce, that I need to take Introductory Microeconomics, Quantitative Methods 1 accounting reports and analysis, and sustainable commerce. That's pretty well been mapped out for me already. If you're really interested in your course structure, you can obviously go on and have a look further. I will say I also get asked by a lot of students, is it possible to accidentally fail a unit? And is it possible to get to the end of my degree and not have, not be able to graduate, so kind of be surprised at the end of my 3 to 4 years of study and then be told that I can't graduate? Have a look at my free webinar for a bit more of a deep dive on whether it's possible to fail units and what the requirements are. But you might be able to see as part of the structure here, there are absolutely units that are compulsory. And unfortunately, I speak to a lot of students who don't have a look at a typical study pattern or a sample course plan and take a bunch of units that they kind of think they should, but they're not certain about. And perhaps they miss a particular unit somewhere, whether it's this elective that's actually placed in here, Principles of Management, perhaps Quantitative Methods 1, whatever it happens to be. And then they get to the end and follow through all the things they're supposed to do, but have missed one of those required units, so one of the requirements of their course. In a lot of cases, that means you're actually not allowed to course complete. So the other reason to have a look at these typical study patterns is not only to make sure you know what units you should be enrolling in at any one time, for example, semester 1, year 1, but also to make sure you're ticking off the course requirements as you go, so you get to the end of your study and you truly are at the end. The other final thing I'll say here is you can see that there are some things called electives and breadths here. If you're unsure what those are and how to go about choosing them, definitely go and get course advice from your actual institution. So in this case, it would be UniMelb, but also have a look at my webinar where it talks about some of the definitions and how you might go about choosing some of those things to make the most out of your uni study. Okay guys, I hope that video was really helpful. Please comment on the YouTube channel to see if there's anything else you would like videos on and to let me know if this was a help or not. I'm really glad to see you here on the channel. Happy study.